What's good, Flipside fam? Welcome back to episode 5 of the Flipside Music Podcast, where rhythm meets reality and every beat has a story. Have you ever wondered how unsigned artists turn basement tracks into viral anthems? Or what it takes to hustle without a major label's backing? Strap in because we're diving even deeper into the conversation this week with Bobby Capri, publicly known as Pre, for a conversation about music, mentorship, and the grind behind the scenes. This is the Flipside Music Podcast. How's it going, Pre?
Good, man. Good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good.
What's the weather like up there?
Actually, it's really nice out today. I don't know if you can see the window over there, but
A little sunlight. Yeah, we good over here too today.
nice, man. Nice.
Ready for spring.
Dude, I'm ready for the warm weather too, man. I'm tired of that. I came back up here from South Carolina in December, like just before Christmas, and it was like 19 degrees, and I was like, no, I will gladly leave this to go back to someplace where it's warm again.
That's a fact. What you sipping on, man? Coffee?
Yeah, just some coffee, man.
Nice.
Yeah, brother. So yeah, man, you had said that you got a project coming up this summer. Tell me a little about that, man.
Yeah, so it's called Natural Selection.
Mm-hmm.
It's done, man. It's done. I just trying to figure out the rollout, how I want to do it.
All right, all right. What do you have like a date set for it already, or not yet?
That's what. Yeah, just vague this summer, you know.
And he said,
I
"No,
don't
this
know.
is something. I'm just gonna pop
Yeah,
up and drop it on you."
I just had to drop it one day, you know.
Nice, man. Yeah, I see that, man. Like, I don't see a whole lot of promo for the stuff. I know you said when you came by the music reviews, you said you kind of took a break for a while and you're kind of getting back into it. I was scrolling through your Instagram and I saw that you had a release coming up or had a release coming out with a bunch of big features on it, man.
I mean, I got a bunch of features just tucked away in the cut. Actually, might put one on this project, but I might not throw any features on there.
No, I saw
No.
like 5 or 6 features on like one project. It was like
I mean, now who was it? Who'd you see? What'd you see?
it was on your Instagram page, I thought. Was I looking at the wrong Instagram page, maybe?
No, that's possible. I mean, who'd you see? I got
DMX, and a few other people.
oh no, so that was that's so I do a lot of artwork for a lot of major artists.
Oh, okay.
So I couldn't promote one of theirs. Like DMX, no, that would have been
Oh,
a DMX verse. So
yeah. There was let's see, it was the Truth, Trey Truth, Trey the
Trade
Truth.
the truth. Yeah, yeah. Out of Houston.
Uh, okay, okay. So that wasn't your album. That was artwork you
Nah,
did for
that's the
that album.
first, yeah, that's the artwork I did for that song. Yeah.
Got you. Because I'm sitting here reading these names, and I'm like, man, I can get some verses from these people too. Wait, hold on, talk to me, man.
Yeah, no. So I mean, I got some verse. I got Trey. I got a couple Trey features. I got some. I got one from Young Noble from Outlaws.
Okay.
Well, I do. So I do a lot of work for a lot of people, man, and they just, I build with them. That's it.
Nice, man. Hey, same here, man. I try to be like a dot connector, kind of in the music industry. I try to help a lot of artists out with, especially when they're first starting out with understanding how copyrights work and how to register your music and sync licensing, verse licensing or beat licensing, stuff like that, and helping like newer artists understand that there's a lot of administrative work that goes into putting out an album or even just putting out a single. Can
Yeah.
you tell us about like any, like weird experiences you had or something you didn't understand, when you first started out that, some of our listeners can relate to, man?
Um. I was so I was signed for a long time, man, and unfortunately, I never really got too in depth on the things that I should know as an artist.
Hmm.
Like, it didn't go badly. I just wasn't very well educated in it, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then at this point, I've learned a lot of stuff, and at this point, I really don't care, you know what I'm saying? I just kinda
Hmm.
go with the flow, wing it,
Put as much content out
put
there
it
as you
out
can
there.
now.
Yeah, yeah. I
Sounds
just
like
put it
you're
out
you're
there. I
ready to
mean,
put your pedal to the metal now.
Yeah, I mean, the dude that records me, he's a dope artist as well, and he did all the research, like, you know what I'm saying? He knows his shit,
Oh,
and
okay.
he's
So
kinda
you got a team then.
kinda
You got
down
a guy that you work with that helps you with a lot of the administrative stuff. So, um,
right.
all right, all right, that's good. I mean, so how did you? Let me ask you this: how did you start working with this? You know, I don't want to say producer or business partner, whoever you want to talk about. How did you guys kind of build this relationship? Did you guys like meet online? Was it
So
like a
actually,
old school
uh
friend or?
yeah, so, I mean, I used to run a recording studio around my way, and
Okay,
he's 10 years younger than me, so I was kinda like a mentor to him, you know what I'm saying? And now he's got his own studio, he learned a
rocking and
lot, you know
rolling.
what I'm saying? He's in a different position, so it's kinda like we've been rocking with each other for years,
Nice,
and he
man.
kinda pushed me to get back to it, you know what I mean?
Hey, man. Sometimes we need people around us to light a fire under our ass to kind of get that motivation again. You know,
That's a
um,
fact.
it's good to have team members or friends that are that are like that. You know, and it can get a little annoying sometimes. I know we all get in our little ruts and stuff like that, man. But yeah, man. So you're from Virginia,
I'm from Texas originally, but yeah.
Texas. Okay.
This is the longest I've ever lived anywhere is Virginia. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Got you, man. So, like growing up in Texas, man, what was like the music culture like where you grew up, and like how did you get into like making hip hop?
Now, so I mean, I moved around so much. I ain't never really grew up in Texas. I'd say Virginia is where I spent most of my time and grew up. So I moved here when I was 14, but I just always had a knack for writing and just kind of got into it, you know. And Virginia has all types of, you
There's so much different
know what I'm
music
saying?
out
Yeah,
there.
it's very
Yeah.
versatile here. Yeah. So,
Mhm.
of course, grew up. My favorite rapper is Jay-Z. My favorite producer is Timbaland. I
Okay.
mean, so grow up, just kind of got into it, man.
Nice, man. Nice. Dude, I love the music that you submitted, man. Even though like some of the stuff was older, I'm excited to hear like what you got coming out this year. For sure. I noticed that you do a lot of like boom bap style, but you're also pretty versatile with other, there's a little bit of other influences that I hear in there with like the Timbaland and stuff. But yeah, man. So how did you come up with the name Pre, man? Is that like is there a story behind it or?
So I mean, so I go by Bobby Capri, and then just all my
Oh,
boys
yeah,
call
you
me
did
Capri.
tell me that.
So yeah, yeah.
That's right. That's right,
So it
brother.
kind of just stuck, man. I just like I would throw it in my ad libs, you know what I mean? Kind of like a punctuation, and just kind of sticks. And I do like I said, I do a lot of art, so I know about marketing and how important certain things are. And the name
That's your
Pre,
stick. That's your thing.
exactly.
I noticed that in
Yeah,
your music too. You do the pre. Yeah.
yeah. I'm saying so like the more you listen to it, the more you want to say it, and the more you listen for it to for me to say it. You know what I mean?
All right, all right, all right.
So
Awesome, man. So have you it looks like you've done some shows and stuff too, man. When was the last time you did a tour, did a show?
the last show I just did one in Richmond last month, Richmond, VA.
Okay.
So
How was that, man?
it was dope, man. It was dope.
Were you
My
like
boy had
the opener or
nah,
headliner?
it's so like nah, so my boy, he's a dope artist as well. He has his own street brand clothing out here in a store and a movement.
Oh,
And it was
okay.
their 3-year celebration. So he invited a bunch of dope artists that he rocks with. We came out, did our thing. So
That's cool,
you know,
man.
like I do like I said, I do artwork. So I just did you know who Mad Skillz is?
I don't. I'm not gonna lie.
You know who Mad
No,
Skillz is?
not off the top of my head, man. I'd have to look it up.
Look him up, man. He's a super legend, bro. But anyway, I did the artwork for his project. It was Grammy nominated this year. He didn't win, but we still got nominated. But he was out there.
That's
He popped
awesome,
out
bro.
in front of a
So
bunch of people.
you worked with some crazy people, man. I saw something on your Instagram about Just Blaze and Doc Ock too. Were you were hanging
We
out
were
with
in the
them?
studio. So Just Blaze wasn't there, but his other producer, Omen, was there. Like Tiana Taylor was there, a few different people. So that was a dope studio. It's in Harlem.
Nice, man. Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome, bro. So you travel up to New York a lot, or
I lived in New York for a while. Yeah.
let's say
I stayed
you have a little bit of a New York accent. I can tell.
yeah. I stayed in Queens for a while, man. So
Oh, my mom was born in Queens.
nice.
Yeah, man. But yeah, brother. So you spent a lot of time up in New York then.
A lot of time, yeah.
Nice, man. So, and I could tell that with your style of music and stuff like that, that's definitely very East Coast New York style. You said Jay-Z's your, one of the people you looked up to, one of your favorite rappers or hip hop artists. I wouldn't say rapper, hip hop artist.
Yeah, yeah.
um, and yeah, man, and I want to kind of like touch on that, man. Like you are very like very very deep into hip hop culture, I can tell, with the your lyrics, your style and stuff like that. So like what led you to like what kind of like influenced you to go to hip hop, like what as opposed to like say maybe a different genre, like if you weren't doing
Um,
hip hop, what would you be doing, do you think?
Fuck, I don't even know, to be honest with you, bro. Like, I mean, I always just listen to hip hop, you know? Yeah, I mean, I listen to different genres of music, man, but probably that more so in the past couple of years, I've gotten into different genres of music as far as listening goes. You know, so I'm like catching up on shit that I didn't listen to in the early 2000s now, like a System of a Down or
Gotcha.
like rock and shit, alternative things like that.
Yeah,
So
I've been kind of finding myself going back and listening to a lot of that stuff too lately. I don't know why. Like I was literally just listening to like
yeah,
My Chemical Romance,
it's dope, man. I mean,
jamming
like
out.
I missed out on that whole thing because back then, I mean, it wasn't really cool to like other shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know.
Mhm.
When you listen to hip hop when you're like a teenager, that's what you listen to. You know what I mean? You listen to rock, that's what you listen to. So
Yeah, I was deep into like
now,
the emo punk ska scene for like a long time, underground kind of bands and stuff like that. Because, well, growing up in New Jersey, we like a lot of it is like local bands. There's not a lot of hip hop.
yeah,
It's mostly bands playing.
no,
Especially like in the off season, like right now, the venues, like the big venues, Stone Pony and places down here in New Jersey, they're only booking local bands right now. So the only time we ever get like anything kind of different is like the summertime when they do like the summer stage and the festivals and stuff like that, and we'll get a few other different types of artists coming through, but um so we didn't have a big hip hop scene growing up. I didn't really get into it
yeah,
until like honestly, like probably about 7 years ago or so. I was DJing, like I would play I would play hip hop and stuff like that when I
yeah,
was DJing, but it wasn't like my go-to genre. But I've kind of grown up, more of an appreciation for it over the last like 7 years or so. Um,
yeah. No, hip hop's though, and you got to think, man. We're down here, so in VA before the internet really was streaming and all that shit. Like you were kind of at the mercy of MTV, whatever came on the radio. You know,
mhm. Yeah,
so
man,
it wasn't the same.
I
Yeah,
was just talking to Big Sess the other day, and he's like, "Hey, you remember the box on MTV Raps, and you have to, send your song in and wait for it." And I was like, "Oh shit, dude, that's a while ago." But yeah, I
way
remember
back.
that.
Yeah, way back, bro.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man, do you have any so that aside from that upcoming, project coming out this summer, you said you're not sure how you're gonna roll it out. You're still coming up with a marketing plan and stuff like that. Is it like a full album, an EP? You're not
Yeah,
sure?
it's 13 tracks. So I
She
mean,
okay, that's a
I might whittle it down, but I don't know. Yeah, it feels right. You know what I mean,
is there anything you wanna share with people that are listening on the broadcast? Any upcoming events or shows or anything like that? Or got your
nah,
clothes? I know
not
you do
really. Yeah,
artwork, so anything you want to promote?
yeah, yeah. Nah, I mean, just follow me on Instagram, man, and just I go through spurts, man. I go through spurts of doing a bunch of shit to not doing shit. You know what I mean? I'm just weird like that, bro.
I hear you, man.
I don't have nothing in particular other than the project coming. Like I said, I do artwork for a lot of people, so I got a lot of shit on that side coming, and you know, I just try to stay busy, stay in the mix, bro.
I understand, man. I understand. I'm doing the same thing, man. I'm trying to hustle and grind with this podcast. I got the music interviews. I've got the guest artists versus licensing. that that M80 just launched. So I'm those verses that I was asking about earlier. I was like I can get all of these verses, shit. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
thank
like,
you. Yeah, I think you sent me a message on Instagram and shit. So like, what are you doing? What do you got coming up?
this is my main focus right now, which is the guest artist verse licensing. Which there's 115 different hip hop artists that you get verse licenses for. It's a subscription service. They have an introductory package. So if it's your first time client, you can get 3 verses for $600. And you can go look at the whole list and say, all right, I want a
Yeah,
Jadakiss verse, I want a DMX verse, I want a Juicy J verse, I want and you pick which ones you want. And if they have more, some of them have more than one verse. So there's 150 over 115 artists and over 200 verses. So some of the artists have more than one verse, and if there's more than one verse, you get to pick which one you think is going to fit better for your project. But these are all like acapellas, so you could do whatever you want with them. You can chop them up, skew them like
yeah.
DJs and EDM producers make bank with these things, man. If you want guest artist verses from major and underground hip hop artists like Redman, Method Man, Busy Bone, and more, head on over to MattyFlipTV.com/HTP for a full list of licensable artists. This is a huge opportunity for your music to get heard by fans of already well established artists with no limitations on digital and physical album sales. And you get to keep 100% of the streaming royalties. That's right, 100% of the streaming royalties goes to you as the artist. So head on over to MattyFlipTV.com/HTP and book your consultation today. So for $600, they get 3 licenses for 3 different verses, or they can get 3 licenses for the same verse. If they wanted to, they can do 3 different remixes of, that same verse. And then they can release it commercially and collect 100% of the streaming royalties.
Yeah, that's dope. So I mean, what's the benefits of that? Because I guess the benefits would be like on streaming, right? Because
Right.
the feature now you kind of pop up in those playlists and
Yes. So from what I've seen, mostly on Amazon, the radio stations will pick you up. So it doesn't show up on the that artist's profile. So you can't put these artists as the primary artist. They're a featured artist. It will show up in like also seen on like Spotify. They'll be like also seen on this track, at the bottom of that Spotify profile for that artist. Say it's like it's DMX, right? You scroll down a little bit and it says also heard on, and then it'll show up in there periodically depending on how often it's played and how the algorithm picks you up on Spotify. But with Amazon, I noticed that they have like radio stations that are just like a computer picking stations that say, all right, this sounds like this is in this genre, and it's got this person.
yeah,
It's reading the text, the metadata that's in the file, and trying to put that into an automatically generated radio station. So like right now, my one artist Mike has a song out with Lil Wayne on it. Right,
mhm,
that song is on a radio station on Amazon that is it's an Eminem radio station, and it gets a bunch of plays just from that one radio station. And Amazon pays like 0.8 cents, so it's like almost a penny, 8 tenths of a cent per stream. So when that song came out, there was 500,000 streams in the first month. That was like almost 5 grand for him. So
yeah,
he
that,
spent a few $100s on getting a verse, and it's an unlimited license. You don't have to renew it. The only thing that you have to do is give the writing and publishing credits to the writers and publishers for these verses. That's how these artists that are on this in this catalog, that's how they continue to make money off of it. So they get
so
usually
you
about
give
50% of the writing and publishing.
for my portion of the song,
For
correct?
your portion of the song, you still collect 50% of the writing and
Yeah,
publishing
that's
for
what I'm
yourself
saying.
as
Yeah,
well.
you get
So if
50%.
it's on the radio, if it's performed anywhere in, a venue or something like that, if it's sync licensed to a TV show or a movie or something like that, you still collect your 50% of that writing and publishing. The other portion of it goes to the artists and the writers. Some of these artists
Got
have
you.
ghostwriters too.
Yeah, that's why I'm well
I did.
aware.
Dude, I'm sitting here going, I'm reading over the licenses, and I'm like, who's this person? Is that his
Yeah,
real name or is that just the writer? Like, I can't tell. Like,
yeah. The industry funny, bro. The industry,
yeah,
man,
man.
funny. Yeah. Now, I
But yeah,
mean,
I mean,
like,
you
I think
definitely
I
make your
think
money
that's
back
dope.
on it. You
Yeah.
definitely make your money back on it. Especially you get 3 verses for $600. We were buying these verses at anywhere between 500 to they go all the way up to 8,500 for some of the bigger artists on the list. But if you want to get like one of them, it's minimum $500. So for an extra $100, you might as well get three and dip your toes in the water. But for an extra 200, you could get six.
Yeah,
So
yeah. No, I mean,
um,
it's dope. I get it.
it's a good
I think
deal.
yeah, for
it
sure.
it gets your name out there. You have a little bit of a badge you can wear and say like, hey, I put out a song with Big Pun, or Busy Bone or Crazy Bone, like, and just say, hey man, I made a track. Yeah, you guys were never in the studio together, but you have a track that is legally licensed to you and you can put out commercially and collect royalties on.
Yeah, no, that shit trust me, that shit is cool, and I see the
Hmm.
purpose of it. I know for me personally, I just that ain't for me, you know what I mean?
I
Like
hear you, man.
I got like a lot of relation I don't know, I've always been the type, like, I ain't got that relationship if they're not gonna push it, if I'm not gonna get that actual cosign, like,
Yeah,
you know
man.
what
I
I
mean,
mean?
you get the paperwork, the license that says, it's
No, I
commercially
feel you.
yours and you can use it however you want, as long as you don't just like re-release it as an acapella by itself, like the way you received it. You can't just be like, all
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
here's an
yeah.
acapella of this song.
Yeah, no, I get that for sure, bro. No, I think it's a good service, you know what I mean?
But yeah, that's good. And then yeah, my other thing is the magazine, digital magazine placements, editorial placements. So having articles written for like the Source magazine, and like Vents magazine, um, digitally on their website and their blog. So I sell those as well, and I write blogs on my own page.
It's dope, man. Did you ever get into music yourself?
What's that? I was a DJ for 15 plus years, man. Like I did a lot of karaoke, but I also did like nightclub DJing here in like Monmouth County in New Jersey, mostly Asbury Park. This was again probably about 10 years ago, almost now. So, and my mom DJed for 20 years. So like
That's
I
dope.
grew up with
Yeah, you grew
music.
up in
I just grew up
yeah.
listening to everything, man. Like I had classic rock, I had some of the hip hop, the old school hip hop, and then I had some of the rock and roll and some punk and ska, and then the emo stuff started coming around middle school with like Simple Plan and Good Charlotte and shit.
Solid, man.
Like, yeah, so I had a very wide palette for like different types of music, and I had an appreciation for each kind. So, but nowadays I just kind of I was asked to be, 2 years ago I was asked to be a manager for one of the artists, and I just kind of focus on the administrative stuff for these artists and a little bit of artist development as well, and just helping make sure they got their their T's crossed and their I's dotted, and they're on the
Yeah,
right
yeah.
path. God forbid something happens down the road.
That's good, man. That's dope.
But yeah, dude. All right, man. Well, I'll let you get back to it, brother. I appreciate you taking the time to come and do the interview with me, brother. Have a great
Alright,
rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend.
you too, man. Alright, man. Peace.
Later. If you're a music artist, singer, songwriter, producer, or anybody in the music industry and you want to be a guest on the Flipside Music Podcast, shoot me an email at MattyFlipTV@gmail.com or go to MattyFlipTV.com, scroll all the way to the bottom of the homepage, and fill out the contact form. Thank you again for joining me on this episode of the Flipside Music Podcast. And until next time, I will catch you guys on the flip side.